Hello everybody, welcome to sound editing and mixing for film. Week 4, sound mixing. So really excited to continue this journey, this 4-week journey. So we've gone from our sound design plan where we figured out what do we need to do, how do we want to do it, what do we want to achieve. We did our dialogue editing, we added ambient tracks, we did sound effects, we did some foley like human sounds, footsteps and things, and we added some music as well. So that's it. That's our main thing. Dialogue, music, effects, doing all the sound editing, sound design. And then the final thing is once we've done what's called all the tracking and editing to achieve our design, we need to mix it and put all the levels appropriately. We don't want the music too loud. We don't want footsteps too loud. We don't want a sound effect too loud. We don't want the ambience too loud. We want dialogue to be clean, and we want it to be able to be heard and for it to work well. So that's always our goal in the sound mix, to ensure that everything can be heard properly and that the story that we're trying to tell works through sound, not just picture. So again, pictures, really important, but now our sound is really important to finish this goal of our sound mix and design. So again, I want to thank all our partners in this project. So we have the Canada Council for the Arts, then we have our library partners. So we have the Blue Mountains Public Library, Collingwood Public Library, and the Wasaga Beach Public Library. So right now, you can access the digital arts computers at all 3 of these libraries. And that means we have our iMac, our 27-inch iMac computers that are fully loaded with DaVinci Resolve Studio, and also it comes loaded with RAM, and it comes loaded with hard drives that can handle all the video editing that you need to do. And at the same time, you can do sound editing. So that can all happen through those computers. So right now, all 3 libraries have 2 computers. You can access those. So please go check them out as we're now reopened. And we hope that you can utilize that further. So that's really great news. So moving along here, today we're going to look at mixing the sound in stereo. That's really our main thing, is we're going to go right into Fairlight. We're going to be able to mix things on and mix everything together and make sure that we're happy with our overall levels. So what does mixing in stereo mean? So mixing in stereo is basically have a left and a right. So if you think about even the headphones that I'm wearing have a left and a right. So we can mix things and make things move, for panning it's called, from left to right. We can also just mix things. The music will already be created in a stereo fashion, so it's already pre-mixed in left and right, so we can just preserve that. Then we're also working with mono tracks, which are like our dialogue tracks, which are what's called just centered. So if you think of it just like if you have your headphones and centered is just mono. And that's what the panning knob is. There's center, then you can go left and you can go right. We can play with things moving from the left to right. Same with dialogue. If we have a character talking on the left or the right, that's possible as well. There's other types of sound. So there's things called surround sound, and there's 5.1, there's 7.1, there's Dolby Atmos, and there's ambisonic sound as well. So there's all sorts of these more enhanced type of sounds. But right now with stereo, we're just working with what's our left ear and our right ear and making that seem like the person's there in the space that it's happening. That's our goal, to mimic the space. So music, ambience, dialogue, we want it to mimic. Generally, most of our dialogue will just stay mono, straight in. Just like you're listening to me, it's totally equal. So the left and right are equal because this is just one microphone or mono. And if I was playing an instrument, you might want to consider, okay, what does it sound like from the left and right? So it picks up the idea of the room. So we're usually trying to emulate what the space would be like in our sound mix. That's one of our goals. And to make sure our dialogue is nice and loud and clean, that we can actually hear it. So that's really our goal there in terms of making that work. So let's go right into DaVinci Resolve here. I'm going to pick up where we were. We did all our track work last week. So I'm just going to go to our cuts, and we have our dialogue. Let's see, rough cut 1. Where's our sound editing? Here it is. Okay, so here's our sound editing. So I'm just going to duplicate this. Right click, duplicate timeline, and I'm going to create sound editing complete. And I just want to remind everyone, so what we can do is we can always solo these. So we can hear just specifically you know, what's happening in each zone. So, you know, just as we did all of our track work here. So you can see there's dialogue, Jeff, Barb, alt. So the different alt takes that we did. We have our sync sound, so some of our effects that we can use. Then we have our ambient sound, crowd, room tones, some of the computer beeping. Then we put in a piece of music, and then we have some further sound effects. 1, sound effects 2, computer typing, sound effects 3, sound effects 4, some footsteps, and things like that. So that gives us all our tracks. So we have 14 audio tracks here in total. And as you can see here, this track here, the dialogue is 1.0. That means it's mono. And then the other tracks down here are 2.0. So that's our ambient tracks. The crowds, the sound effects, all of those were recorded in stereo. So we've kept them as stereo. So that means they have a left and a right. So what does this look like? Let's go over here to Fairlight. So on the bottom tab, Fairlight is our sound mixer and our sound panel in DaVinci Resolve. So I'm going to click on that. And what it's going to open up is all the tracks will just be here. And then we also end up with a mixer. So I'm just going to pull this out. And you can see the mixer is now like a traditional mixing board. So if you're used to seeing like a mixer with faders, so if you go up on the fader, it increases volume. If you go down on the fader, it decreases volume. So this is how we can level things, go up and down on our volumes. And then what we can do is we basically, you know, arm which ones are going to be in the record mode. And up here, you'll see like different levels. So watch now if I just play this back. You can see it's all pretty loud and nothing's mixed right now. So we have this really loud door opening and all that kind of stuff. So here I've muted the background music. And then the other thing that I can do is I am going to turn on my automation, which is right up here. So now if I go to automation, I can just do basic leveling. So I can say, okay, let's, you know, we did this in the edit. Let's just kind of review what we've done here. So in the edit, if I open this up here, you'll see that what we've done is we've lowered it to like -22. In Fairlight, the fader is going to just be at -12. So 0 being the top. So then what I can do is I can simply just lower sound effects like so. And that's what we first like to do in the sound mix is I can just lower these to get them so they're not so loud. So sound effects 1, for example, is our door. So let's lower that. Okay, and then there's a few more sound effects down here. So here you can increase the vertical and the horizontal, which is really useful because we want to be able to see these sound waves and what they're doing. So there's that hospital door. So sound effects 1. So now what's happening is if I lower these sound effects overall, let's say -20 or -16, we're going to be able to, and the door metal, sound effects 2, overall our sound effects should be pretty low like that. So let's just do that and see what that sounds like. Okay, so that's interesting. And we'll go even a little bit lower. Okay, and then we got our footsteps. And same thing, we can just probably lower those a little bit. Then we have those beeping sounds. And what's nice is we can just generally look at reducing those beeps. And those are these ones right here. So I'm just going to solo that by hitting S. Right, and that's our ambience effects right here. So we want that to be a lot quieter. And you can see that's already a lot nicer in terms of, you know, what it sounds like. And then what I'm going to do is, let's just go to the effects here. So we're going to do a little bit, we'll add a little bit of effects to it as well. Let's do a little bit of reverb. And that's a lot more interesting because now we already have some reverb. So let's just listen to this on its own. That's pretty cool. So we got the reverb. Perfect. And now what I'm going to do is, let's go to automation. And my pan's turned off. Okay, there we go. That's what I was looking for. So the pan lets us then decide if it's in the left or the right. So what I'm going to do is basically make this kind of on the right. Right, so look at this area here. This is really giving us this kind of a surround idea, like where is it? So I'm going to put it kind of in the left, in the right. So this side is the right, the left, and then this side's the right. So we're going to have it almost all the way into the right. And that'll do it for the whole track. And you can see up here, as I play it, it's higher on the, this is the left and that's the right. So you can see it's a bit louder on the right versus the left. And that's just a big preset. So this is what I like to do first, is just make sure I'm happy with the overall level of this ambience. I'm going to solo these. Okay, so that's great. Okay, so now let's introduce our dialogue and our sync sound. So we're going to, again, just solo these. First, our sync sound. Great. Okay, so that's pretty nice. Now let's start to put in some of the dialogue here. So let's first just put in Jeff. Okay, so that's great. And now we're going to turn these other two on.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Hi, I'm Barb. I noticed you're having a little bit of trouble with your...
So let's just put those up a little bit overall. So I'm just going to go up, let's say about 3.7 decibels in this dialogue overall. Close to 4. So all 4 of these will do that. About 4-ish. Let's see what that sounds like. And I think I'm going to do it a little bit higher on the sync as well. So just as he's typing. And I think I'm going to put that beep down a little bit too. So about minus 20 decibels.
Excuse me. Hi, I'm Barb. I noticed you're having a little bit of trouble with your computer. Just let me know if you need a hand. I'll be happy to help.
Yes, well, as you can see, I'm...
So I'm going to put, now we know she's a bit quieter. So let's go 6, and I'm going to lower him down. And put those beeps up to minus 18. So let's try that again.
Excuse me. Hi, I'm Barb. I noticed you're having a little bit of trouble with your computer. Just let me know if you need a hand. I'll be happy to help.
Yes, well, as you can see, I'm struggling a little bit. Seem to be making a lot of noise, don't I?
Okay, so we're going to, again, put hers up even more.
Oh, my name is Jeffrey Lincoln.
So overall here, this is our main mix here. And I want to stay just about in the yellow.
I taught for 25 plus years at U of T. Oh, I've been retired for a few years now, though. Still, those were wonderful years.
So basically about minus 5, minus 6.
Ah, I have great memories of those. Yes, well, as you can see, I'm struggling a little bit. Seem to be making a lot of noise, don't I?
Let me just go in here. I'm just going to lower it just a touch.
Yes, well, as you can see, I'm struggling a little bit. Seem to be making a lot of noise, don't I?
Okay, and I think we'll bring down some of this ambience a little bit too. The crowd indoor. Bring that down just a touch. So it's not as loud with people.
And I'll be happy to help.
Yes, well, as you can see, I'm struggling a little bit. Seem to be making a lot of noise, don't I? Oh, my name is Jeffrey Lincoln. I taught for 25 plus
So we have a bit of that crowd
years
noise
at U of T.
anyways.
Oh, my name is Jeffrey Lincoln. I taught for 25 plus.
What I'm going to do is just do a little bit of a dissolve fade out there.
Oh, my name is Jeffrey Lincoln. I taught for 25 plus years at U of T. Oh, I've been retired for a few years now, though. Still, those were wonderful years. Ah, I have great memories of those wonderful years.
And I think here this hit's going to be too loud. We'll just lower that. Minus 16. And you can see it's great that we separated the sync.
Well, listen, so nice to meet you, Bev. You have a great evening.
And we're just going to raise those up a little bit individually. So this is the key here, is that I can do the overall track right here, but I can go in here and adjust each clip as well. So you have those two levels of mixing: the clip in the edited sequence, and then on the fader as well.
So nice to meet you, Bev. You have a great evening. Cheers. So nice to meet you, Bev. You have a great evening. Cheers.
Yeah, perfect. And then we can just decide if we're gonna have that kind of end somewhere. So that's a pretty good, you can see that's 8 tracks mixed. And you know, the dialogue I'm gonna keep pretty much mono. I don't feel like I need to move anything around there. And we played with our beep. Now let's see if we can play with this this music that we were thinking would be like background music. So we can put it really quiet, and let's again put a little bit of reverb. So you can just hear it. It's kind of in the background, and it's interesting. It just, again, very, very subtle. Let's turn everything else off. I'll show you how quiet it really is. Okay, so that's great. So now let's look at our music. And this is where we're going to start to do some automation. So I'm just going to solo all these. So I'm just working with those. And then eventually we'll just start muting some of our leftover tracks. So what I'm going to do is go right to the score. I'm going to hit this automation here. And I'm going to say latch and fader. And now I'm saying if this is on, this automation right here, that it's going to hold and latch and write keyframes for those levels. So let's start right from the beginning and let's have a look. And now I'm going to use the fader, and whatever I do will be recorded as keyframes in the audio. So I'm just going to make this a bit bigger so we can see what it does.
Excuse me. Hi, I'm Barb. I noticed you're having a little bit of trouble with your computer. Just let me know if you need a hand. I'll be happy to help.
Yes, well, as you can see, I'm...
So perfect. So now when we play it back, watch what it does. You can see it fades up, and now it's turned itself off. So I'm no longer going to record any of the fade increases. So just by turning the fader level, you can see now what it's done. Up, down, and then back down here. Let's fast forward to the end. And as he leaves, I'm going to arm this again. You can see it's red.
Oh, nice to meet you, Bev. Have a great evening. Cheers.
And it's going to just hold itself down. And I can do the same thing with that background music. Beautiful. You can see our room tones and everything's done. And we kind of just end on that score, which is nice. Beautiful. Okay, and you can see, so that's a left and right of the score. Okay, so now let's add in some more of our sound effects, and we'll just keep mixing everything else in. And now for this one, I want to specifically make it into a pan. So let's just see what our pan's doing here. Okay, and so sound effects 1, I'm going to make it on the left for him to enter. And we'll make it a bit quieter. And we'll add this, sound effect 2. And this one we're going to make over there as well. Okay, and now this one right here, this footsteps one, we're going to arm this one so it can sound like he's coming from the left towards us. So we'll do a little bit of pan mixing, if you will. So I'm going to arm that. I'm going to say do it to the pan and the fader, and we're going to do a latch. So that the latch means wherever I put the fader, that's where it stays if I let go of it. And then there's a touch. Every time I touch it, it adjusts itself and then goes back to it was. So I'm going to just use latch for this so that I don't have to keep going back. So first I'm going to do the panning from left to right. So I'll go from the beginning here. Okay, I can't really hear it too much. So let's start that again. Oh, we got to turn it on. There we go. So let's just start that again here. So I'm going to arm that. Okay, and now let's play with our volume of that. And you can see it's probably a little bit too loud, so let's try that again. So that's pretty nice. Let's play with this. Sound effects 2. So we're going to just play with sound effects 1 now. And these ones we're going to want to, I'm just going to play with this pan here, sound effects 2. And now this sound effects 4, we just want to center this, so I'm just going to put it right up here. Let's have a listen to that.
Excuse.
And sound effects 1, go up here and just make sure that's centered as well and put it a little bit louder. Okay, I'm just going to arm that again. We can't really hear this one down here, so let's just get this a bit louder.
Excuse me.
And number 2.
Excuse me. Hi, I'm Barb. I'm Barb. I noticed you're having a little bit of trouble with your... Yeah.
And that gets a little bit loud on number 1.
I noticed you're having a little bit of trouble with your computer.
As you can see, all what I'm doing is I'm arming the automation gang, and then deciding if it's the pan or the fader. So pan again, left, right, and then the fader is up and down. So this is, again, the panning is right here. And every time I arm it, I can just move it left or right. And then the fader is down here. And notice how it just goes to the red. And then I decide how loud do I want his specific sound to be. And I can arm a bunch of these. So let's go over here.
Excuse me. Hi, I'm Barb. I noticed you're having a little bit of trouble. You're having a little bit of trouble with your computer.
So again, that's just the the soloed of that. So I'm going to turn all these solos off now. So they're just all on. Then we can solo these one at a time. So I like to work with solo to kind of bring all the mix together. And then I can solo them. Now that we've basically pre-mixed through this, I can then, sample each one. So I soloed these. I just did as an overall track. I can click on these to do the individual ones, or I can just do the entire fader for that entire track. Let's go down here and just listen to some of this Foley work and just see what it's like. So this one still sounds a bit loud. Let's see if I can just kind of lower that a little bit. So just zooming in here. And this one we're going to just bring down as well. Okay, that's pretty nice. Okay, so you can see there's that combination of the automation, just using the fader to set the overall level, and then working within the tracks itself here. So here's some more footsteps. Let's do this part here and just make sure we're happy with this. Okay, let's do this part here, and we can do the automation here a little bit again with the fader and panning. Okay, and then we'll just play with this door again a little bit. And same thing, we'll play with the pan of it. Okay, that's great. And then we'll do the same thing here with the sound effects too. We're just going to make these a little bit quieter, just right in the track itself. Sometimes that's a little bit easier. I like to go right in there, click, and I'm just going to lower that down a bit. So you can see multiple ways to mix. We're basically just making it all level. And now let's play with our footsteps panning out from center to left as he leaves. Okay, and then I think we just got to do this fade stuff. Let's get this a bit louder. Let's do that one more time. Okay, and so we soloed that. Now let's see what it sounds like.
Well, listen, so nice to meet you, Bev. Have a great evening.
Now these ones, again, they just sound like they need to be a little bit on the left to make it sound like he's doing it. Okay, and then let's also just lower these. Okay, so sound effects 1. Okay, and let's just see what that looks like on the faders. Okay, so there we go. Let's give this a listen back now and just see what everything sounds like.
Excuse me. Hi, I'm Barb. I noticed you're having a little bit of trouble with your computer. Just let me know if you need a hand. I'll be happy to help.
Yes, well, as you can see, I'm struggling a little bit. Seem to be making a lot of noise, don't I? Oh, my name is Jeffrey Lincoln. I taught for 25 plus years at U of T. Oh, I've been retired for a few years now, though. Still, those were wonderful years. I have great memories of those wonderful years.
I'm just noticing, I think there's a little bit of these mouse clicks that we did here as well. So let's just see what those are like. Sound effects.
I taught for 25.
Let's just solo those. Okay, that's not too bad. I think what we'll do is we'll just do a little bit of a reduction in the level of it. So let's just see in the context of the mix. And here we go.
I taught for 25 plus years at U of T.
That's pretty nice.
Oh, I've been retired for a few years now, though. Still, those were wonderful years.
Oops, that one got a bit loud on me.
Full years. I have great memories.
So that one again, just a bit loud on the first take of it.
Still, those were wonderful years. I have great memories of those wonderful years.
Okay, and these last ones just get a little bit quiet on me. Okay, and now I'm just wondering if our shopping mall, we put kind of this big shopping mall sound design here. And let's just lower that down a little bit here. That door seems a little bit loud. I think it's this one here. It seems pretty interesting. And then Perfect. Okay. So I think that's pretty nice. We have all of our leveling done. So just to kind of recap, the whole idea is so that I started with the working with the dialogue, getting overall levels on the mixing faders. Then we did some of the sync effects, making sure those are level. So I had Barb, our female character, I put her +7. The overall dialogue for the male character about +2 decibels. And then we added a little bit of the background music, made that kind of in the left, in the panning. We also played with the ambience effects of the beep, like the beep, beep, as if it's in the background of the library. Then we mixed our score, that Lonely Grief it's called. We did some panning effects to our footsteps. We did some of the overall effects leveling. So we did it either in the fader or right in the clip, so we can lower our levels and then adjust it. And then we did our automation for the pan and fader, which is just up here. We decide what the automation is. So we say latch, which is just holding as we go. Whatever adjustment I do, it just holds at that spot. I said do it on the fader and the pan. You can choose, whatever you want to do. So you can, adjust in equalization. So you can see this, the writing, the touch mode is latch. The on stop, it just holds, enables fader and pan. So you can turn those on or off. If you don't have any of these enabled, it won't do anything. So you always got to make sure you choose one of these. Then you decide which tracks you're recording to. And then, by turning those on or off, they either go into the right mode or not. And that's it. And then we're automating the fader. So look at the score again. If we watch the score, look at the fader here. Goes up. And same idea, if the fader goes up and down, and then let's look at our footsteps that are on sound effects 4. Fader's going up, footsteps.
Excuse me. Hi, I'm Barb. I noticed you're having a little bit of trouble with your computer. Just let me know if you need a hand. I'll be happy to help.
Yes, well, as you can see, I'm struggling a little bit. I seem to be making a lot of noise, don't I? Oh, my name is Jeffrey Lincoln. I taught for 25 plus years at U of T. Oh, I've been retired for a few years now, though. Still, those were wonderful years. I have great memories of those wonderful years. Well, listen, it's so nice to meet you, Bev. Have a great evening. Cheers.
I'm just hearing this little bit of a loud opening door, so I think we don't need that in the beginning. stayed about -5. Now here the loudness meter, as long as it stays in the yellow zone right up here, that means we're in a good like technical specification. If this goes to red, then we need to lower the mix to stay within the loudness measurement zone. So that's really, it's fully automated. So that'll tell you, as long as you don't hit red, then we're in proper technical specifications for the mix. So that's our goal. There's a tendency to want to over crank the overall levels and volume, but this is a pretty nice mix, about -5 decibels in our overall meter of the stereo. You can see we've been going a little bit from left to right, some panning, some fading. Quite nice. I can hear everything. Ambience is nice and rich. I'm covering up the gaps in when the dialogue was recorded, where there's some more talk and less talk, so that's working really nice. And our loudness meter is not going into the red zone. So that's pretty much it. That's our mix. Once that's done, that's just, we go back to the edit, and everything that we've done in Fairlight is just right in there. So it's the same mix, is all completed in the same manner. And we can, if I turn these, I'll just turn one of these faders on for the music track here, and we'll see how all the volume work is done. Let's just go over here. Well, it's not done within here, so it's done within Fairlight, but all of our same levels, listen to the same mix. The same mix is achieved here. Here we go. Right, so everything we've done in Fairlight is right there in the mixing window. Then we can just export, and then we're totally done. And that's it. That's how we do the mix. It's really that simple. It's a super easy to use, just the automation gain, and you know, you can go the panning gain, automation. We added some ambience, which was really great as well, and I mean, some of the reverb we added as well, and that's it. That's basically all that it comes down to able to do this. So definitely, if you have any questions, or you want to send me the mix that you're working on, or any kind of mixes you're doing, just send me an email, tom@tbmcs.ca. Love to hear your mixes and answer any tech questions that you might have. Again, thanks for joining us. This has been the 4-week course. You can rewatch these, so you can rewatch them and then work along. You can take any kind of picture sequence, film a short scene even on a phone, and then start adding in some sound effects and sound mixing. And it's really that simple and that much fun to do. So thanks again to all our partners in making this project happen. We have the Canada Council for the Arts. Then you have our library partners, Blue Mountains Public Library, Collingwood Public Library, and the Wasaga Beach Public Library. Thanks for joining me, and be sure to check out, we have more workshops coming up in August, online workshops, so check them out. We're going to be doing one on some more post-production ones, one on color science, and working color grading. So if you've gone through editing, some sound editing, you want to look at the color grading and Resolve, please join us in that August workshop. It'll be really exciting as well. So until next time, again, thanks for joining us. Have a great rest of the day. Be sure to rewatch these and check out the computer stations at our library partners. All the best, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care.